I don't see myself as a risk taker at all. That's why the first time I came here in July 2022, I don't know if any of you were here besides JJ and Tony. I know Amos Stolzus was here because I remember the story you were here. Well, this was a big risk for me. It was a year after my husband died. And I came up here on stage and I told the 21-year journey that Mark lived with stage 4 cancer and my role as his healthcare advocate. Now, I told a 7-8 minute story in 5 minutes because I was afraid of JJ ringing that bell. And afterwards, that was it. I wasn't going to tell another story because I didn't know if I had any more stories because I didn't know if I was anything else but a healthcare advocate. But several people came up to me afterwards and said, please come back. So I came back 2 months later. And afterwards, several people came up and said, please come back. So I came back the next month. And man, I bombed that story. You could see the scores back then. Everybody was getting 8, 9s, and 10s. I got 5s and 6s. But that's it. My story career is over. But somebody came up to me afterwards and said, you're a good storyteller. Don't focus on the judges. You're not going to know the scores next year anyway. So just try to concentrate, try to connect with the audience more, and you'll be a better storyteller. So I came back in January. And he said, come back again, so I did. And he said, come back again, so I did. And all of a sudden, I was on this storytelling thrill ride. And I was realizing that I'm a bigger risk taker than I thought I was, because I was taking risks with my stories. And I was starting to realize that I'm more than a healthcare advocate. And all of a sudden, I found myself in the York Grand Slam, and then the Lancaster Grand Slam. And then I was on stage with JJ, and she handed me the trophy with the microphone. And I was kind of in shock. I don't know if I was thrilled or not, only that I was thrilled that my 2 sons were there, and it was one of the first times they weren't embarrassed of me. They were actually proud of me. Now, I had several supporters there that night, but an hour later, I found myself alone in the dark in my living room, sitting with my trophy on my lap, and I started crying. Not really the thrill I thought that I would feel, because you see, I realized that the one person I wanted to share this trophy with, I couldn't, because he's no longer here. Yeah, I was pretty down that night. But when I woke up that next morning, I don't know what happened. My alter ego came out, my evil twin. Because on the way to the gym, I picked up that trophy by the microphone. I put it in a canvas bag to protect it, and I went to the gym and I marched into my weightlifting class, parading my trophy around. Now, everybody clapped, and I was feeling better. Now, don't judge me, because I take a lot of classes at Universal. I went 4 days in a row to different classes, parading my trophy. Now, after Zumba class on Saturday, I thought, that's it. But it was too late when I came home and I took that trophy out of the canvas bag by the microphone like this. Yeah, this is how I was taking it out. Yeah, guys, beware. You do that too many times and it can break. That's what happened to my trophy. The microphone broke off and I started crying because all of a sudden this trophy meant the world to me. Now, I thought maybe I should tell JJ or Tony, but what did they think of me? I was walking around the gym parading my trophy around. Now, my husband was a jeweler, and he fixed things like this for customers all the time. He'd always shake his head like, oh, great, I need to be a miracle worker. Well, I walked into a local jeweler about 10 minutes from my house with my broken trophy, crying, and I told him who I was. I didn't know he had a connection to my husband, and he said, Marianne, Mark was the jeweler to set the bar up here for the rest of us jewelers, to be honest and trustworthy and humble. Yeah, he looked right at me when he said humble, because I broke my trophy that he had to fix because I was parading it around a gym. But he fixed it for me, and he didn't charge me a cent. Now, breaking that trophy gave me another connection to my husband. The main reason I got into storytelling to begin with, to share bits and pieces of that 42-year thrill ride we had together. And now I'm on a new ride, and it scares me because I don't see myself as a risk taker, and I'm taking risks all the time. But I'll never regret the risk of coming here for the first time, because all of you have become part of my healing journey. So thank you for being willing to sit here and listen to my stories month after month after month. Thank you.